You were saying you have an audition today.
Yes.
For what and for where and for who?
Today.
Yes.
So actually today I'm auditioning to be an Ultra Angel for Ultra Music Festival.
An Ultra Angel.
Yeah, so the Ultra Angels are basically the girls that you see that come out and dance for the music festival on stage. There's a lot of choreography. I'm really excited for it. I auditioned last year, but they ended up not hiring really any new people because they changed the venue. So they didn't want to make too many changes.
And that's one of those big changes that they're like, no, let's stick with what we know.
And then they decided to go back, and they were like, we're going to go back to what we normally did. So they're holding auditions, and they actually do a worldwide tour as well.
Sick.
Aside from just Miami. So yeah, I have that later on today. So I'm really excited for it.
How did you get started with like auditioning for Insomniac specifically? Because I know you model and you do dancing and stuff like that in ballet, but where did the specifically Insomniac?
Actually, when I was living in Santa Barbara, I was out partying.
Of course,
with my I know I was out partying with my ex at the time, and he was talking to this guy that we were like we didn't really meet like.
It was organic?
What's the word? Yeah, it was like very organic. We just happened to be like sitting next to each other, and he was like, oh, like, hi, we're like, having a beer or whatever. And my ex was like, oh, yeah, like, oh, you dance. Like, they were talking about something.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, yeah, I'm a dancer. And he was like, oh, like, my girlfriend dances. And I just started getting kind of into like festivals and like the EDM thing because being from the East Coast, like, it wasn't really that big, like where I'm from on the Northeast.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's
right
not
up.
popular EDM?
I mean, it is, but like when I was like in high school and growing up and stuff, like it was more like rap and trap.
Sure. I can see that.
So I started getting into that. I started knowing more of the DJs and everything. And he's like, I've worked for Insomniac for like 10 years. He's like, you should really audition for them. And I was like, okay. And he was like, they hold open auditions every March for EDC Las Vegas. Okay. So I was like, okay, why not? I'm always down to try something new. So the thing is that the audition, you have to dance in like high heels. Okay. It's a lot of like heels work, kind of like go-go dancing. Yeah. Like go-go dancing, and I had never done that before. I was like strictly ballet dancer. I mean, I did jazz, and like I had done some like hip hop before, but I'd never really danced in heels like that, or done like club type of dancing, or dancing for a DJ. But I was like, whatever, let's like see what happens. Yeah. So I come to LA. I drive all the way to LA, and I had a ballet audition actually the following day. So I stayed in LA for one night.
So you're in New Jersey. The auditions are in Vegas, you said, or they're in LA for
the auditions are in LA.
Okay.
But at this time, I was living in Santa Barbara.
Got it. Okay. But you're from New Jersey.
But
originally.
I'm from
Got
New
it.
Jersey.
Okay. So
yeah.
from Santa Barbara came to LA. We're all caught up.
Came to LA. Yeah.
Okay.
So came to LA for the audition, and I threw on some like high heels that I wear to like go out in. Some girls have like heels that they actually dance in, and I was just like put on like a sports bra and some like athletic shorts and some high heels, and it ended up being like a 7-hour long audition. Jesus. I made it past like the first 3 cuts, and they asked me to do main stage at EDC Las Vegas.
Dude, is that rigorous? 7 hours? Is it like just because they come in waves?
It's because it comes in waves. Right, okay. But it still was like a really long time, because like with ballet auditions, like they give you about an hour
to like wow them. Or they
not even. They'll do like a half-hour cut and another half hour, and then you don't even know really if you didn't make it or make it, unless like after a few weeks, if you haven't heard back from them, then
you get the picture kind of thing that you didn't.
Yeah, you kind of get
cold.
The picture. Yeah,
that's cold.
So, but for Insomniac, also there was like, I mean, they do one audition every year, and it's for EDC Las Vegas because that's their biggest event. It's 3 days long, and so they had maybe like 300 girls or something like that. Yeah. So you're also, you're waiting, you're going through. Right. So the first round is kind of like freestyle. Okay. And then if they like what you do on stage for that, then they ask you to learn choreography.
Okay. On the spot. Or they like have a choreographer go
on
stage with you.
Yeah. So what they do is like you have all these girls that are kind of lined up and waiting with our numbers on.
Classic.
And they do like every 3 girls will go on stage freestyle. Okay. As you're leaving the stage, someone will kind of like sneak up to you and be like,
they chose you.
Stay for choreography.
Right. Oh, damn. It's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. And then if they don't say anything to you, you leave. Or they say thank you for coming. You know, usually they say thank you for coming. That means that
you get the hint.
Yeah. Like thank you for coming, but we don't need you to stay. And then if you stay for choreography, you move into another room. You learn choreography for about maybe get like an hour or so to learn the choreography, and then they break you up into groups, and then they pull those groups out to do the choreography, and then after that, then they do cuts of who they want to see do the choreography again, and then they do a final cut of who they want to see do choreography again, and then they're probably down to like 20 to 30 people maybe, and
up to 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get an email.
That's wild. And how frequently do they have because you're saying EDC Las Vegas obviously is their biggest show?
Yes, that's the only time they audition.
And do they use the people that they choose for that year's Insomniac shows kind of thing? Yeah.
So then once you've been, asked to become a part of the Insomniac team for the rest of their shows, because they have Beyond Wonderland, they have EDC, they have Escape, they have Insomniac is a whole bunch of different things all around the world internationally. Yeah. So then you're kind of put into their group of performers. Right. You're an Insomniac entertainer. Right. And then they'll reach out to you for each show if they are interested in casting you, or they put out a mass email, hey, who's available? Just a mass email to those performers that have been chosen.
Right, okay.
Yes, but you usually have to audition first. Some people send in like a video audition, but I'm always way better in person, I think.
Sure.
And I think that when people get to meet me, it kind of gives them a better understanding of who I am, and it leaves a better impression on them, as opposed to sending a video.
I think it's always like that with most people. It's hard to kind of send a video and really...
I agree, but a lot of things now are done like via video.
Digitally?
Digitally. I mean, there's a lot of I've looked into some ballet companies out in LA now that I'm here, and like a lot of them don't even hold hold in-person auditions. It's all based off of video. They want you to have a self-tape of yourself. A lot of auditions, for, I mean, I guess it makes a little bit more sense for acting and stuff because they want to see what you look like on film. But I still think a live in-person audition is like, I feel better doing it. Yeah. I mean, some people might feel way more comfortable behind a screen. They're not sitting there right in front of a person. But I feel a lot more comfortable being right in front of someone and giving them that kind of impression of who I am and being able to kind of gauge what they're feeling in person as opposed to sending something to someone and I have no idea what they're thinking while they're watching it.
Yeah, and you can't react to their reaction.
I can't have a reaction exactly. I grew up auditioning like my whole life. So it's kind of like second nature to me now. Like,
yeah, you got into the habit of
I've gotten into the habit of being in an audition.
Yeah, that 7-hour Insomniac, you're like, this is nothing. I've been doing this since I was a kid.
I haven't done an audition that long though, because that was a lot. That was really intense, but I don't know. I was ready. I was ready for it, and I mean, I did something that wowed them.
Yeah.
So that was in 2017. I think I did that.
Okay.
So it was March, right before I turned 21, and. Yeah, then I got asked to go to Vegas. EDC Las Vegas is in May. So, and I got asked to do main stage. So they have character performers that kind of roam the grounds. They're like roaming performers that go from stage to stage and they interact with the people. So I got asked to do main stage. So pretty much we stay behind the main stage at Kinetic Field. And we perform for all the headliners.
Do you guys stay in costume for it, or do they change you for each artist? Or?
Yeah, so we get changed for each headliner that we go on for, and it's actually interesting. We had more time, we spent more time changing hair, makeup, and costume than we did on stage. It was like 20-minute sets on, 40 minutes costume change, 20-minute sets on, 40-minute costume change, because it was that intense. I mean, we're just caking on makeup, layering, airbrush, new wigs every time.
Jesus.
I had never worn, full wigs before either. And I was like, oh, like, what is going on? I'm used to like ballet, tutu, or like very minimal, like leotard and like some cool shorts or something like this. And this was like full theatrical. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I just like had no idea what to expect.
I feel like for something, I mean, I definitely want to get to the ballet part, but I feel like especially with something as big as Insomniac and as EDC, I wouldn't expect anything less from them, especially if they're going to do something as big as like a 300-person tryout to get the right performer on stage. They're like, we're gonna get you guys. I mean,
they have all their costumes like handmade and designed specifically for them.
It's such like a smaller detail that you wouldn't think, like as an attendee, for example, like someone seeing on stage. Because I've been to the EDCs. There's an insane
amount that goes into that.
Just into that specific like part, it's wild because EDC is already like the biggest one of the biggest festivals in the world, and to be in attendance and you see like you on stage dancing and then those performers, you have no idea the backstory of.
You have no idea.
You have to go and change
no idea. It's so much.
And then is that freestyle dance when you're up there, or do you still have like the choreo that you learned
so that's actually more freestyle because we don't always know what the DJs are going to play.
Right, that's true
too. So we kind of have to go with what is going on with the DJ. We have like a general feel of what we're supposed to do, and we have like pointers that they give us and certain things not to do, but we don't have full out choreography.
What are some of the things you're not supposed to do, if you remember?
Like go like really hard, like like
pace yourself.
Yeah, definitely pace yourself, but don't look like you're raving in the crowd. Got it.
Like, so look like you're part of the bigger
we're
picture.
Part of the bigger picture. Like we're almost like we're part of the set. Yeah. Like we become a part of the stage as opposed to someone like raving like in the crowd. I remember the first time I went on stage, I like.
How gnarly was that? Because you go out and obviously everybody's already in attendance out there. Is that the first part that you're like, oh fuck, so many people?
I was honestly more just like amazed because I performed in theaters my whole life, but that only holds a certain amount of people. When you're at an EDC or music festival, like you're looking out and it's just like people, like thousands and thousands of people, like. Thousands of people. But I remember the first time I had the first set I did, I just got like really excited and I was like hyped up and I started getting like too much into it. Yeah. And we were supposed to be, we're supposed to kind of our movements are supposed to kind of relate to our costume. So our first costume was, we were like this blossoming flower. And I started going like really hard,
petals
as
falling,
opposed to being moving my hands around and stuff like that. And I got off stage and they were like, "Okay, so whatever you just did, don't do that." Yeah. And again, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." But we're supposed to like. Kind of like
be a part of the I get it. I get it. So
I'm like,
and you did that EDC Las Vegas, and you were saying for each, let's say they have like EDC in Tokyo, right? Was it Tokyo?
Yeah, I actually did EDC Korea.
EDC Korea. So if you get chosen in the beginning of the year to be one of their 30 performers, do you have to still submit something for EDC Korea? Or are they like, hey, you're on our list, like if you want to come?
Yep.
They fly you out, they cover everything.
You pretty much are contacted.
Nice.
So some of the shows are invited, and then some of them they just send out a mass, like, are you available type of thing. So I did Escape for Halloween. So that was kind of, they send out a huge, an email to all the Insomniac performers and entertainers. Hey, are you available? If so, let us know. And then they see where they can cast us because they can't just like throw people, okay, you're available, like you're in. Yeah. They have to specifically cast. I mean, every dancer so they put a lot of the roaming performers. So since EDC Las Vegas, I've been a roaming character where we go from stage to stage.
Right.
We do 10-minute set, and then we come off, and then we walk through the crowd.
Sounds exhausting in heels and full costume, walking around the whole fucking festival.
It is, but
Jesus
I think
Christ.
your adrenaline just keeps you going. Yeah. But yeah.
Do you guys? Is it just like you free roaming with the cast? Do you guys have anybody else that's with you?
Oh yeah, we have a PA.
Okay, I would think so.
We have a PA. Which is personal assistant, if you guys are wondering. And they kind of stay off, but yeah, we do. Because also, you don't know, I mean, some of the people, Like
that's why I'm asking.
When it comes to like
especially in festivals with you guys,
festivals, I mean, things can happen. So we need to have someone, and we have to keep our character while we're walking.
Right.
We can't just be like,
just
walking around like,
exhausted.
Okay, like I'm tired. Like we have to keep full character.
That's
but
crazy.
we're always casted. So, our casting director, who also runs the auditions, her name is Miss Easy. She has to see. Okay, so like I always get casted with someone we're all 5'7". We're all the same body type. Oh. No, but for each role, she has to see who's applied.
Oh, wow.
And then group us together right. So we all kind of look.
That makes sense.
Similar.
Yeah, because you're not gonna have one much taller and one shorter on the main stage. Yeah, because we
need to look like a team, kind of.
Okay, I get that.
Like a crew.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that goes into that as well. And then when they have their international shows, they'll ask certain people and then see if certain people are available. So it really kind of depends on the show, depends on what they're doing. I know EDC Orlando, which they actually I think they extended to 3 days. Yeah, I mean, every year it's getting bigger and bigger. Everything they do is getting bigger and bigger. And I think Beyond Columbia, possibly. I think they extended to 2 days. It was 1 day, got extended to 2 days. We did EDC Korea, and they immediately were like, we wanted an escape here. So they did an EDC escape in Korea. Yeah, it's like nonstop. So I only maybe do something for them like once every other month. I mean, depending on the show. Once every other month
or every other like type of festival that they have, because that would be a lot of traveling, I would assume.
Oh yeah, but you have to think like the main people that are working for them, like our casting directors, a lot of the like head PAs and the set people, stage managers, they're doing like there's something every single weekend.
Yeah, Insomniac. Can you save some room for the fucking rest of us trying to shows out here? I mean, they're even starting to do like underground shows here in Los Angeles. I mean, they did Secret Project. I think that's an Insomniac show. I don't know if they run Factory 93.
They run Factory 93.
Of course they fucking run Factory 93.
Yep,
of course they do.
Insomniac.
It's crazy.
I couldn't imagine traveling that much. I mean, maybe I do. It also depends on the like rate of the shows. So like I did Korea, which was at the beginning of, I guess it's a little more, it's not every other month. It's like a little more extended.
But it's still very frequent.
But it's still pretty frequent. Frequent. Yeah,
I know you got it. Yeah, you got it right the first time.
But yeah, I know they have Dream State coming up this weekend.
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that. Dreamscape?
Dream State.
Dream State. All right, well, another Insomniac show if I can get used to. And you're doing that?
They asked me to do it, but I actually promised my best friend that I would help her sell her pottery at this community healing festival here in LA.
You're a good friend.
Yeah, I was only able to do like 1 day for them. So I told them, I let them know. It's in the community healing festival
the
Dream
1 day.
State.
Yeah.
So it's 2 days. It's in San Bernardino at their NOS Center,
so
where
local.
Escape, where Escape happens. They do a lot of shows there. I told them if they need me, just let me know. But yeah, I promised my best friend I'd be there for her, and I'll get asked to do something else for them.
Yeah.
I've done enough at this point. So
have you auditioned? Like you have to re-audition every year after?
So,
or is there like seniority or?
You have to re-audition if you want to be in EDC Las Vegas, you have to go to the auditions.
Okay, because that's the big one.
So last year I couldn't make the EDC Las Vegas audition, so I wasn't able to perform even though I was available for EDC Las Vegas, I wasn't available for the auditions. So I think that's really cool. They try to be fair, and they want to be able to give everyone a chance to have the experience of being an Insomniac entertainer and working for their company.
Yeah.
So I really think that's cool, but it didn't mean that I wasn't able to perform for them for the following year.
Right. Okay. But so you don't have to re-audition for the Vegas one to be able to do their year's show.
Yes, but I have to re-audition if I want to do
that specific
Vegas.
Got it.
Specifically.
Nice. So it sounds like it's going to be consistent. It sounds like something that you enjoy being a part of, especially with being a part of something that is as big as Insomniac. There's always going to be something to do.
There's always going to be something to do. Yes, and I mean, everyone that I work with and everyone that I meet it's great. I always have a great experience. I have nothing bad to say about it.
Good. Yeah.
I'm really happy I was given the opportunity to perform for them and get the experience and be able to travel. I also did EDC Mexico.
They have an EDC Mexico.
Yeah, that's in Mexico City. So I was able to do that. I got asked to do that. I think it just means more and more opportunities that are going to come my way. And I feel like this is my time to be able to take advantage of being able to travel and have nothing, no kids, no like set job per se. I don't even have a pet right now. So
you're really free to just come and go and do your own thing.
I'm really free to come and go, yeah. I always tell my roommate, I'm like, I'm the best roommate ever because I'm never home.
Yeah. That's how it was at my old place.
Yeah, I'm like, she basically gets a free place, like a place to herself for the price of splitting it like half the year.
Nice. Hey, it works out for everybody. You get to travel and do your thing, and you get a place to come home, and then she has a open space. Has the you okay?
Yeah.
You good? How is the traveling and being a part of Insomniac? Like, how does that dancing compare? Because let's talk about the ballet. Because is that something you started when you were a kid? Because I guess every girl wants to be a ballerina.
Ballerina, yeah. So I teach really little ones right now, and
nice.
There's a lot of the moms come in, the little girls have tutus on,
right? And
it's like a very like typical thing for like little girls to like start ballet. So yes, I did. My mom put me in ballet when I was really young. I started dancing maybe when I was like 3 years old.
Mm-hmm. But so you were one of those girls with the coach.
Yes, I think I was. But I also think that I think my mom knew what she was doing.
Okay.
I think she realized that I needed some other form of discipline.
Most kids do.
I know, but I think I was like...
Tasmanian devil?
Yeah, type of thing.
Got it.
I think she was like, yeah, like this is more than just ballet.
Right.
Like this is learning how to follow directions, follow rules, be good at like learn how to kind of self-compete.
Yeah.
Understand what's going on.
Self-compete is ballet, because it's not really so much where you're going up against other ballerinas.
Yeah, I mean they do have competitions, but I never did ballet competitions, and I think this is where I thrived in it. Not to say I'm not a team player, but I just work well. I work better when I just have to focus on myself.
Right.
If something goes wrong, it's no one else's
it's
fault
on you.
but my own.
Right.
I can't get upset at anyone else. When it comes to growing and becoming better as a dancer, there's no one I have to rely on but myself. So it did become very like self-competitive, like competing with myself, and something about that just made me
stick to it
and like want to get better and better and better. I didn't have to think about anyone else, just had to focus on myself, and I got really into it and I loved it.
So you did ballet as a 3-year-old starting off.
Yeah, I guess honestly because I teach about that age, it's really like creative movement.
Yeah, because they're just trying to gather their bearings. And at what point do you start to like learn the techniques of ballet?
Probably started fully learning the techniques around like 6. Because also what you need to do is you need to start to teach kids how to understand musicality.
Okay.
Because it's more than just movement. You need to know how to move to the music, like hear the music. There's some people that really like don't hear music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a couple of my friends that don't.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in the music industry, like you can definitely hear it and like you understand, but some people like really just don't. Like they hear the music, but they don't like,
it doesn't resonate.
Like they don't know how to like move their body to it. I mean, it takes a lot of practice.
Of course.
But some people it comes a little bit more naturally too. So that's kind of what they're kind of getting you used to when you're like really young. At least what I do with my students.
The musicality.
Hearing the music, being able to move to the music, not making sure that like your toe is like fully pointed and your legs fully straight at the age of 3, but knowing how to get from one side of the room to the other side of the room, moving at the same speed of the music.
Got it.
I tell them if the music's, really loud and big, maybe you should move a certain way. Like you should do some big jumps and slow but big movements, as opposed to like really quiet music. And you want to do smaller,
scampering across.
Yeah, exactly, smaller kind of movements like that. So that's what I kind of try to work with my kids. But yeah, so I started really learning ballet probably around like age 6. I learned jazz as well. They always try to kind of pair like some other style. Not everyone does, but
what's the jazz? Because I know hip hop and I know ballet and I can get it, but the jazz, I know jazz music, but
it's like what you see on Broadway.
Oh, okay. So it's theatrical.
It's more theatrical dancing. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And you've had
like commercial dancing, and like sometimes when you see like a bunch of dancers in a commercial, like Old Navy commercial or something like that, and they have
okay.
dancers. But yeah, it's a way more like in musicals. It's gonna be jazz, Broadway, jazz.
Right. But you stuck more towards the traditional contemporary ballet, or?
I was a classically trained ballet. Okay. I was trained in Vaganova technique, which is a Russian technique.
Vaganova.
Yes, Vaganova, which is a Russian technique. I liked the strictness of it. And then when I was about 16, I switched over to training at a school in Manhattan called Manhattan Youth Ballet.
Okay.
So I was going to high school in New Jersey, ballet school in Manhattan.
Okay.
Because I'm like 10 miles out of New York City, where I grew up in New Jersey.
Right.
And there we learned Balanchine technique. Balanchine technique is what the New York City Ballet trains in, and how they dance. Balanchine, George Balanchine. He kind of altered the classical technique into a way that he thought made the dancer almost look more beautiful in a sense. So he created another technique. I mean, there's multiple techniques to a lot of styles of dance, as there's like multiple techniques to
like hip hop dance.
Exactly.
There's crumping, there's breakdancing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there's different techniques of ballet, but a lot of it comes down to a classical foundation.
Sure.
So that's what I started off with. I was always pretty good at jazz. So when I was in high school, being from Jersey, we kind of have a little bit of an edge to ourselves.
The New York, the East Coast edge. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, so you do get a lot of ballet dancers sometimes that just know ballet. That's all they know how to do. But then you ask them to, just dance, like just relax and dance, and they can't do it because they're so used to being like
prim and proper and
perfect and prim and proper. I never had that problem. I was always able to relax, move my hips.
Which helped get the Insomniac.
Which is what helped with the Insomniac. Yeah, exactly. So when I was in high school, I went to it was a completely normal public school. We had great sports, but we also had a great arts program. So they had a dance company there. When I was dancing in New York City, I was dancing there 7 days a week, so I wasn't able to dance for my high school anymore. But my freshman and sophomore year in high school, we had a dance company that I danced with on top of my training that I was doing in New Jersey. And that's where I learned contemporary, and then our hip-hop was all student choreographed. So... And we were kind of like a crew. Right. So that's actually where I learned how to do the hip hop that I was able to do, was actually just through students. Just doing it. Pretty much doing it. I definitely don't say I'm a hip hop dancer by any means at all, but I would be able to get into a hip hop class, take it, and feel comfortable.
Like Step Up.
Yeah,
School dance, and weren't they in the East Coast? I don't know.
Yeah, they were. They were in Maryland. Yeah. And that's actually based off of a real school. I forget which one it was. But it's like the movie Fame is based off of a high school in New York City, which is actually a real high school called LaGuardia. So that all those little experiences kind of helped me get to where I've been today. The only thing I have to say is I do definitely struggle with, I feel like I've trained my whole entire life in ballet. And I did dance with a company in Santa Barbara when I graduated high school. Well, right before I graduated high school, I auditioned for a whole bunch of ballet companies in New York City. And I got asked to come to Santa Barbara and train with State Street Ballet. That's what moved me out to California. Got it. So I was like,
and is that a company that is that like a prestigious company enough for you to want to leave everything that you have in New York and be like, hey, we're going
I was just stoked that I got an opportunity to train with the company, to like be a part of the company and dance with that company. And
it's a big commitment.
It was after, I mean, I always got good grades. I was always really into school, kind of that competitive attitude
sure.
thing. So I was always really good in school, but I really wanted to dance, and people are like, oh, just go to college for dance. And I'm like, not one of my instructors ever in my entire life went to college for dance and then became a dance instructor.
Yeah.
That comes with your experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of that comes with experience. You can't sit in a classroom. You can't sit in a classroom and learn about dance and then become an amazing choreographer. Like, I was like, I'm not wasting $60,000 to be a dance major just to come out of school and
dance like you would dance now.
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
how much more can you learn from like a study of it as opposed to being trained on the spot
or just doing it? Yeah, just experiencing it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna save my $60,000. And
smart.
I'm gonna save my $60,000 and I'm gonna go dance and, really put all of myself into this experience, see what I can learn. I mean, every time you're in class and you're in a dance class, you're learning.
Yeah.
Everything you do on stage, the process of getting ready to perform for a show, rehearsals. That's all experiences that make you grow and make you become a better dancer.
Yeah.
And it gives you real life experiences in how to deal with people in the industry as well,
which
you can't get
in school.
In school. I mean, you can to a certain extent, but also I was like, why not just start this now as opposed to going to school for 4 years and then starting to get those experiences. So I was like, I'm just going to do it now when I'm 18.
That's true. It was a good age, and you didn't have to spend the $60,000.
Exactly. Yeah. I did end up going back to school, though, for a little bit.
For dance?
Not for dance at all. I was like, absolutely not. I got my associate's degree in kinesiology.
Okay, got it.
But
just to do it when you have everything else going on?
Yeah, I felt like everyone was like learning a lot, and I was like not. I was I was like all I was doing was dancing, and I always really liked science and stuff growing up. I was like, okay. I just felt like I was losing a little bit. Like I hadn't read a book in like a year. Yeah. So.
But you did it. You got. Now you feel like you're more of a well-rounded.
Yes, I definitely feel way more well-rounded, and also I learned kind of the hard way that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So if I ever want to go, if something happens and I can't really dance anymore, I just have to do 2 more years to get my bachelor's in kinesiology, and I can move a career. I have something to fall back on.
Smart.
Because I did when I was 16, I had hip surgery. I had full
because
hip
of the
surgery.
dancing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was dancing like 7 days a week. I just overused it. I was also really flexible and wasn't using my muscles correctly. So yeah, and I was out for 6 months during a critical period of my training, which really affected me as well. But now I understand how to, 1, use my body better, 2, prevent injury, which I also bring to my classes that I teach, and people love it. I teach adults as well, and they're like, oh my God, I really pay a lot more attention to the body now.
It's more important. 1, you're older. 2, you've been through enough stuff. So it's exactly like you were saying, that experience that you're not going to get in school. You have to go through something in order to kind of know how to teach the next person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, what I want to know, sorry to go back again, but as a young kid, it's just, I did everything from playing the guitar, playing the piano, took drum lessons, I didn't take any dance lessons, took swim lessons, took everything, and it's hard to concentrate a kid onto one thing without them kind of getting over it or wanting to do something else. So how is it that you managed to stick with the belt? Is it just that self?
No, my parents were like,
you're not leaving.
No, they're not. Actually, complete opposite. They were like, okay, well, we can't force her to just dance. Let's have her try other things. Yeah. And I made the personal decision. Okay. Actually, I really love swimming, so I was on a swim team for a couple summers. My dad was a swimmer. I really love swimming, and actually, swimming and dance is the only 2 athletic things that are completely, literally use almost every muscle in the body, head to toe. So I don't know. I really like swimming. I love that. I can go to the pool. When I was in college, I took, swimming for conditioning. I can go in the pool for easily an hour, just swim laps. But I did try, I tried basketball. I tried soccer.
Way left field? Okay.
Yeah.
As a kid or as you got older? Okay.
As a kid, yeah. I tried basketball. I tried soccer. I did gymnastics for a while. I did do gymnastics for a while.
I did too. Funny.
I was actually pretty good at it. I actually could teach acro now, for younger
acro
kids.
Yoga?
No, like acrobatics.
Okay.
So they're putting a lot of gymnastics in dance now, like on stage. They're incorporating it. I can only teach up to like a certain level. But like I can still do my aerials and handstands and walkovers, etc.
Yeah.
Which I'm really grateful that I was able to do that. So I was doing, when I was really little, I was doing gymnastics and ballet together until I was about 12 years old.
So those are your
I was
hobbies.
Also pretty tall for a gymnast.
Right. Yeah, they are usually pretty short and stocky.
Yeah, they're really tall. They were kind of like, so I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll stick with ballet.
Ballet, yeah. I got my pink tutu, and then you walk.
Yeah, I think when I tried soccer, someone like kicked the ball in my face, and I was like, I'm out.
I'm done.
I was like,
yeah.
I'm done.
I think children's sports is tough. Again, from being from someone that's done so many of them, it speaks about your personality, the fact that you were able to stick with something and now you still do it, and now you're technically considered a professional ballet dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just something about it that got me hooked.
Yeah.
Like I was just hooked, and I still am. Like I still go take like I don't know. I just love it. And now that I'm good, it feels really great.
Yeah, of course. Anything that you're good at is
like,
feel better.
It hurts a little bit more when I like
physically
can't do something.
Oh, okay.
No, more like mentally.
Okay. Sure.
When I can't do something, I'm like, oh, like then I get really kind of stuck on like learning how to do it.
Yeah, that's a good
thing.
thing.
But as an adult, I kind of understand the process more.
Yep.
As opposed to when I was a kid.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you're always still learning. I can always get better.
Yeah, and if you're still practicing and you're still warming up and you're teaching other people, that's just going to reinforce it for you in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's the path with ballet? Because it's not a very typical route that people take as far as like dancing or even, I mean, I wouldn't say profession, but just that specifically. Like, do you create your own type of ballet? You know what I mean? Like
a lot of well, I don't want to say most because I don't really know.
Fair.
But a lot of people, like, you train ballet your whole life and then you join a ballet company. And
that's
like the typical route.
Okay.
You join a ballet company, you might dance with them.
They travel and do shows. They represent the city in one specific location. What is it about the joining it that makes it part of the ballet route? Like joining a company.
That's kind of like when you're like in ballet school.
That's
like your vision.
Join a company. Okay.
Join a company.
Yeah.
It's like, a football player. I want to be in the NFL.
Right. That's the big leagues.
Like that's
for ballet.
Or at least go like I want to play for college football.
Sure.
Like as you're training, like you have like that's like that typical route. Mm-hmm. That's what you're training to do. Mm-hmm. So with me, I started having a hard time. I was dancing with State Street Ballet in Santa Barbara. I did that for a year, but I was having a hard time just focusing on being in that company, that one company,
sure.
Just focusing on that and doing that every day. Growing up, that is what I wanted to do. And I felt like once I got there, I wanted to, become a higher rank in the company. And I wanted to just focus on that. But there's just something, I think, in my kind of personality that made it really hard for me to do. I also am a very social person.
Right.
I like to go out.
Right.
I mean, when I was younger, I was school all day, ballet all evening, party all night.
At 6 years old? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, when I was older,
yeah.
And it was a lot, and I would just go, but you really need to, ballet needs to be your whole life. You need to eat, sleep, and breathe ballet.
Damn.
And it wasn't a part of my personality.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of decided to bring my dancing into more of a freelance role.
Right. Which you couldn't do as a part of a company. So when you're a part of a company, do they have to kind of help you get gigs other places, or are you only a part of them?
You're allowed to. It's not like they're your manager,
right.
Per se, but you just you
represent them.
You represent them, and then you're always rehearsing for a show. You're in the same studio with the same people. Like after 6 to 8 hours of dancing in the studio with a company, the last thing you're gonna do is go home, spend another 4 hours in the studio creating your own thing. I mean, you can. There are maybe some machines like that out there.
Exactly.
But normally, like, when you're dancing in a company, your focus needs to be what you're preparing for that season.
Got it. That makes sense. And that wasn't for you. So you came out to Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara, to be a part of the dance company. And then was it here that you were just like, this just isn't, I mean, you got to the point where you wanted to as a kid. You got to be a part of a company. You traveled from East Coast to West Coast. And then you started realizing, like,
I just kept finding myself doing other things.
Right. Which I think is pretty normal. Again, it's machines and robots that really commit to being a ballet dancer. And I still definitely feel like a little like I wish I did the company thing and like fully committed myself, at least into my mid-20s. But I have just kind of accepted that it wasn't a part of my bigger picture. My personality. Like, there wasn't anything keeping me focused on that one thing. But it's good that you're able to acknowledge that, before it's like you
I've
committed everything. You've accepted it. Yeah, you've accepted.
I've had my own moments where I've been like, oh my God, why didn't I just stick with a ballet company?
And then you open your eyes and you're on main stage at EDC Las Vegas.
Yeah, or in Korea.
Yeah, exactly. so there's give and take to it.
Exactly, and that's what I've kind of accepted.
Yeah.
And being in LA has definitely given me more of an opportunity to kind of expand the freelance world as well. I think definitely people are always like, oh, well, why didn't you just stay in New York City? And my answer to that is I think that LA definitely has more of an opportunity sense for people in all realms of entertainment to kind of build their own brand. Absolutely. As to where New York City, I feel like you kind of need to already be established.
Or know somebody.
Mm-hmm. I mean, almost everything today is kind of like who you know anyway.
True.
But there's something about the entertainment industry as a whole where LA is really like the hub.
LA's I've done a lot of traveling like you have, and I genuinely believe, and might not be a popular opinion, but I think LA is the best city in the world. Like, as far as opportunity, as far as living conditions, as far as weather, as far as everything, anyone can come here and do anything that they want to do. I mean, for New York, I've only been there once before, so I can't really speak on what it actually is like to be there, but I feel like New York is a place where LA is cutthroat too, but it's like you really got to know your niche when you go to New York, and you really have to know someone that can kind of get you started.
It's definitely cutthroat. Yeah. But I think I always say that LA's made me a nicer person.
Yeah, I'm sure. LA, I think it's because of the weather. It's a little more lax than it is in New York when everyone's frigid and fucking angry.
Oh, whatever. I have all the time in the world.
We don't all sound like that out here, okay? So don't group everybody into that.
But yeah, I definitely still miss New York. I would love to move back. Ideally, I would love to
move back. Not even just visit.
Ideally, I would love to be bi-coastal.
Okay.
Have a place in LA and a place in New York.
Excuse me.
But that costs a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But there's a goal eventually.
There should always be a goal.
I always visit though every year. I go back every summer. I don't bother with the winter. I go back to see my family in the winter, in New Jersey, and my dad is outside of Philadelphia, so I'm very familiar with Philadelphia as well. It's like my second home city. If I had like a home city, it would be New York City, and then my second home city would be Philly.
And then LA.
Yeah, and then LA.
Okay, it's gonna work its way up in the ranks. Ideally.
Yeah.
No, I need to do more East Coast travel. I haven't been before. But you're here now. It sounds like you love it here. You're doing the ballet. You're doing dancing and performing for someone as big as Insomniac. Is that like the only place you're targeting you're performing as far as dancing outside of the ballet world?
No, I would really I've done like music videos for different composers. I've also done some rap music videos. So I would say I'm pretty well-rounded, but I think I've dabbled in a bunch of different things. Now I need to have a direct focus. So moving into this new year with 2020 coming up.
Yes, in 40 days.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think what I really want to do is focus more on creating my own choreography that is primarily ballet to music that is written like to other types of music, not just classical music.
Not
like
classical ballet music. Right. Is there a genre that you hear it and you're like, oh, this is ballet, meant for ballet or designed for ballet? Or is it just you guys listen to like classical music and incorporate dance accordingly? Because I don't think does ballet have its own genre of music kind of thing?
I mean, if you go on Spotify, like a ballet class, you can pull it up.
Okay.
You can, a bunch of albums.
Right. Because that's not what you want to do.
Well, this is the thing. Like when Tchaikovsky wrote, he did Swan Lake. I know he did Swan Lake. Yeah. When Tchaikovsky wrote Swan Lake, he wasn't envisioning it as a ballet.
That's true.
He wrote the music, as a set.
As it is, and then ballet took it.
Yeah, it's not like he wrote it calling it Swan Lake. The ballet, ballet took that music and created a story around it.
Right, which is like one of the most legendary stories in dances.
Yes, it's my
Swan
favorite.
Lake for ballet.
Oh my God, if I had $1 for every time someone said, "Oh, you're a ballet dancer. Have you seen Black Swan?" I would be so rich.
It's that consistent that people. I mean, I guess because it is a ballet movie.
That's all people.
Really?
Oh, you're a ballet dancer. Have you seen Black Swan?
Have you seen Black Swan?
Yes, okay. And I own it. But yes, I think also I've been told I give people Natalie Portman vibes when my hair's down right now and I have makeup on. But whenever I'm dancing and stuff, my hair's always up. Like I wear my hair up all the time. I love my hair up.
Do they have free flowing, or is it just you need to get it out of the way so that it's not getting?
I do not know how these girls dance with their hair down.
I feel like, it would kind of just get in your vision. And
girls like go-go dancing and the go-go scene in LA and
fall off stage and shit.
You have to know how to dance with your hair down.
Right.
I don't know how people do it. I mean, I'm starting to learn and like figure it out, but I'm like, I need a whole class on how to dance with my hair down. Because I'm used to like, I pull that shit back. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. I can turn. Nothing gets in my face. Nothing gets in my mouth. But I mean, even a lot of jazz contemporary, like people just dance with their hair down. And I'm like, that's the one thing, like
crazy?
As a ballet dancer, I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't know how you do it. And people just so like, I've seen girls just so like it's nothing. Like it's not even there. I'm like, every time I try to dance with my hair down, that shit's in the way.
Yeah.
It's a mess and it's completely distracting. But I'm figuring it out.
You got a lot to figure out. You have the ballet, you have the performing with Insomniac, and you do modeling.
Yes, I do model.
You travel a lot with modeling, or is it more of the local stuff that do you work with like photographers that you like their vision and they're like, hey, I want to create something based on like my tone of my work, but with you? Or is
if I'm reaching out to a photographer to shoot with them, it's because I've gone through their portfolio and it's something that I want to see myself in.
Yeah, I get that.
In an artistic way. Mm-hmm. I don't really model just because I want a bunch of photos taken of myself. I don't think most models do. Yeah. But you do get a lot of that now, especially with Instagram.
Yep. I can only imagine the like.
I think modeling originally was very artistic. It's about the fashion designer's artistic view of putting clothes on someone. It's about you as a model becoming a living kind of piece of art. Yeah. And now there's like two sides to that. You still have that high fashion side where it's very much of an art. Mm-hmm. And then you have the look at my ass and tits.
Do you think that's diluted? I mean, I personally think that it's kind of just opened the field. Like social media has just opened the field to and like you say, everyone's an Instagram model kind of thing. Like that
and it's like cool that social media has now given everyone the opportunity to show their talents and show what they want to do and kind of promote themselves. But it's also made the industry very saturated.
Right, totally. I could see that, which makes it harder for. I mean, do you audition for modeling? Yeah, of course.
I mean, there's castings
for things, but
you don't really. Everyone's like, "Oh, like good luck at your casting," and I'm like, you literally walk in, they take a picture of you and say thank you because it's just based on how you look. They're either gonna like how you look or they don't. It has nothing to do with your personality.
And I've heard that 9 times out of 10 they have a specific look already in mind, but they're going to open the audition, and as soon as that person comes in, they're like, hey, yeah, you have the height, the hair, the eyes, the this that we're looking for. Everybody else kind of wasted their time. But
like castings take like 5 seconds, literally.
Jesus.
And I always try to make a good impression by like talking to them and stuff.
They're like, shut up. We want to take a picture and get out.
No, I never get that, but like in the end.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. Is there like not a hierarchy, but is there a level of which you have these prioritized for yourself and for what you want to do in the future with like modeling, ballet, performing?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, what's your hierarchy?
Okay. My highest
and most important
is creating a brand around myself that showcases my talent as a ballet dancer to choreograph and perform it to different types of music. Second level, like one level down, would be to... Oh, and the first level includes performing on stage. Yeah, it's not to say that performing on stage.
It's not to say that one is less important than the other, but I'm just as far as like your vision for yourself.
Like focus like right now.
Yeah.
For second would be like continuing dancing in film and keeping. I feel like I have been, from certain people I've met, I have been introduced to the music industry here in LA, and I've gotten opportunities to kind of like do music videos and stuff like that. That would be kind of second importance because it's not always the type of dance that I personally want to focus on doing.
Right.
I like to keep it a little bit more theatrical, but you know, music videos are always fun. Music videos are always fun.
I've never been called on to dance in a music video, so if you guys are looking for someone, you know,
I would prefer to be like, if someone's asking me to do a music video, it be kind of a more theatrical realm as opposed to like doing like a hip hop video and then meeting like people to twerk or whatever.
Right.
I'm like,
that's not what you're. That's not what you're classically trained for. You're putting your talents.
And then, below that would definitely be my modeling. I actually feel a lot more comfortable and like to almost model in film, like in videos. Like I'd rather have someone take a video of me modeling or, you know, advertising the product in video as opposed to just standing there and taking photos because I do like to move. I'm a mover.
Helped. Your dancing and your performing have helped with
definitely.
The
so I've gotten
modeling.
Since being in LA, I've gotten a ton of experience on set and being behind the camera and film sense, and I'm only gaining more experience. But modeling is very hard. I mean, it's cutthroat. You have to know someone. Right. It's a lot about who you know.
As in general as an industry or here in LA?
In general as an industry.
Okay.
And it's just, it doesn't really make me like super happy. Like it's not my passion. I always tell people dance is my main bitch and modeling's my side hoe. So that's kind of how I see it. But the amount of money that is in modeling is just insane.
No kidding.
And the film industry.
Well,
so
film I know for sure. Where you got to kind of compromise
you can be an amazing dancer, but
there's a ceiling to.
There's this, I mean, I wouldn't say there's a ceiling, but you can easily make 3 times as much doing a photo shoot for like one brand.
Right.
As opposed to spending 8 hours in the studio choreographing something for an artist. When
all they want is just one shot of your face, throw Gucci on it, and then there you go.
Yeah. And you're walking out with racks.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So that's where the conflict
you gotta. I can get that, but it sounds like there's at least. I mean, you're still super young, so being at your age and kind of understanding your pockets of what you want to be doing, where you want to be, how you want to take all these and kind of integrate it into one is really good. It's really solid to have something at your age.
I think I have a very set. It took me a little bit to figure out, but now I'm like, I'm set. I got a good idea. I know where I want to go.
you'll always be figuring it out. I don't think you'll ever. Yeah. There's always, like you said, you're always learning with dance. You're always, especially, I mean, you're still super young, so you still have, I mean, you're not going to be the same person in 5 years.
I know, but I like to think that
that you're going to be the same person.
Not the same person, but I like to think that I'm not going to drastically.
No, of course. But I mean, your experience.
I don't know. Some people go completely out of left field.
Yeah, no, I did. When I was in high school, I was not the same person. But then again, I was like 16, so whatever. But so yeah, it's. I mean, what you're going to do, you know, with your goals and all the experience that you have so far, and you're going to kind of group it together slowly in 5 years is going to add up to something. So that's when you're not going to be the same person, is what I'm trying to say, you know? So your work, and if you do have this time to where you choreograph your own dance to a specific song, that can open up more opportunities for you.
And it's definitely going to be like, because right now my Instagram, if you look at it, it's all modeling. I have some dance stuff like lower down from when I was dancing. Yeah. I danced with the Santa Barbara City College's modern dance company for a bit. So I have some dance videos like farther down, but it's primarily modeling stuff. And I kind of want to work on bringing in the new year, switching it over to videos.
Okay.
Dance related. Only like mostly dance. You know, have some modeling here and there. But I don't want it primarily modeling.
Because I mean, you're curating. You're curating yourself.
I'm curating myself, and it's just not my passion. Like it's cool, and I think the modeling that I've done has been able to generate a following. So now that when I do promote my dancing, it's only gonna grow even more, as opposed to starting from the dancing, where just there is a lot of feedback for dance on Instagram. But I think it was easier for me to gain that following faster with the modeling.
Yeah. I mean, again, in the age of social media, of course that's going to help. Okay, so 2020, what's the goal? What can we expect from Sydney?
My Instagram to be more dance videos.
Okay. More dance centric. Okay.
And I pretty much just want to book more stuff in the dance community.
Yeah. So if anyone's looking, book your girl.
Yes, book me.
Where can everyone find you on social media and online? Where can they search?
You can find me at Sydney Rose _ and 2 V's. VV. And if you want to come see me perform, I'm going to be in a Nutcracker on December 8th with Duarden Performing Arts Dance Company.
Where?
It's in Burbank, so not far from here. Yeah, it's going to be at the Colony Theater.
Nice. I have not.
So I'm really excited for that. Show. I actually auditioned for the Nutcracker because I haven't done anything really classically ballet related in a couple years. So I came across this opportunity to audition, and I did, and I'm like stoked. So that's what I've been rehearsing for the past couple months.
Cool. I'm gonna try.
So I got my point shoes back on.
Are those like brutal? Or is it they have like a padding with like a flat surface? Because I didn't even ask that.
They don't have a padding. You put a little pad.
Jesus Christ.
You put a little like pad over your toes. Some people just use like paper towel.
Yeah.
But from practicing so much, your feet get used to it. But like if I take off, like let's say I don't wear my point shoes for like 3 or 4 months and then put them on, it'll hurt more than normal.
Yeah.
But you kind of you've been building up that kind of resistance to it.
That's the one thing I've seen, like the physical toll ballet's taken on your body is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I didn't have toenails like a lot. I mean, I was like missing toenails all the time. It's so funny. If my feet were like my one thing. I like kept my socks on for sex for like so many years.
Oh my God.
I would never take them off. I was like. That was the one thing.
These are staying on. Yeah. Sorry, guy. In the shower with socks on. Oh, my God. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for coming out. And we'll see you at the Nutcracker.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in.